So if you couldn't tell by today's title of the video, we're actually going to be talking about the new preview to the next upcoming update for Killing Floor. I would say it's an update because it technically is, but apparently in Tripwire's sense, we need a beta within a beta. It's really confusing and I don't really have time to explain it because I just want to go through what I actually really like about this update. Now, a lot has changed within this update, a few rebalances, a new map, 5 new weapons instead of 4, and a new perk. Now I want to talk about the key focus of this video first being the Swat Perk. SWAT is basically Commando. Take away the ability to see things, add in a tanky health system, and swap the rifles with SMGs and you've basically got SWAT. It's a really nice little perk. It's quite powerful, maybe a bit too powerful at times. If you look at the first 2 skills, one being focusing on while you have armor, you do not take health damage. Cloth can't grab you and you start the game with 50% armor. While the other level 5 skill is tactical movement. No movement penalty while using iron sights or crouched movement. Why would you take tactical movement out of the 2? You're basically going for, oh, I can walk at the same speed as normal if I'm aiming or crouching, to the only thing that can actually hurt me through my health is a siren. Which seems more powerful. I think you'd go for heavy armor training with that one. Going from there, on level 10, you've got close combat training, which is more increased damage with your pistol, and knife by 100%. Begin each game with dual pistols, while the other one is tactical reload. Now at first I thought I'd go for tactical reload because I like to reload my guns pretty quickly. However, the original reload speed for the SMGs isn't that long anyway, and having a pistol with 100% more damage throughout the game is surprisingly more useful compared to having a quicker reload speed, which is already fast as it is. After that, at level 15 is more focused on equipment. You have suppression rounds, which increases the stumble power by 100% with all perk weapons, or ammo vest. Carry up to 30% more ammo for each perk weapon. Now, you can go for either on these ones. I've personally gone for suppression rounds because the amount of ammo you get is ridiculous anyway. Plus you've got the pistols for 100% damage, so having stumble power will be much more useful in the field compared to having a little bit more ammo. However, I'm only, I think, level 16 at the time of recording this, so I haven't really got to try level 20 or level 25 perks, but I'm just going to quickly go through them to give you an idea of what I'd probably go for. At level 20, you have assault armor. Maximum armor is increased by 50%. Begin each game with 50% more armor. So basically you start with 100 armor and get up to 150. That's now 250 HP, excluding siren damage, or cripple. Multiple hits with perk weapons will slow the Z up to 30%, hitting in the legs is the most effective. You're going to go with assault armor on this one because you get more health. Now, level 25 is where I personally think it is a little bit more interesting. So these are normally the skills which will help you with Z time. The first being battering ram. During Z time you move in real time and have massive knockdown power when you run into a Z. Rapid assault. During Z time, perk weapons have unlimited ammo. Shoot in near real time and have increased stumble power by 100%. So the way I look at this would be you can either be a battering ram, which sounds fucking amazing, or you can have rapid assault with infinite ammo, real-time shooting speed and 200% stumble power if you go with suppression rounds. As much as I want to be a battering ram, rapid assault there just wins the victory for me. Now if you've noticed what I'm saying, it seems to be one-sided, which is normal. All perks have their go-to perks. They need a bit of rebalancing, and I honestly think heavy armor training should be higher up in the list, not level 5 because it's ridiculously broken. I think assault armor and heavy armor training should be swapped. Now, for someone in their comments just going to go, oh well, that's just stupid, it's fine how it is. Keep in mind that most of the games I've been playing now, everybody plays SWAT, including myself, because the other perks do not stand out as much anymore. Personally, I never liked Sharpshooter when it came out. This is a personal reason because I can't defend myself with it. The same with Demolitionist really, until they added the new M16 with grenade launcher attachment and I've realised I've used the wrong fucking perk this entire time to make myself weaker. You need a fair set of balance with all the perks so it doesn't make anybody feel weak. While Medic is meant to be weaker than others, it's a support character, while the rest should feel on the same level as SWAT, or SWAT should be on the same level as them. However, in Versus, Berserker still reigns superior, because obviously kicking the shit out of someone with a shovel is so much fun. Right, moving on from the perk itself, let's look at the 4 weapons and the 5th weapon. You heard me right, there's 5 weapons in this update, one of them is not. I repeat, not for the SWAT. At first, you've got the MP7 with a silencer attachment and holographic sight. I really like this gun because it shoots well. I can't tell you the stats because I'm not Richard Dangles, and it's really satisfying to use up to wave 6 on Hell on Earth. You know what, I'm going to actually keep that one in. I'm going to explain the rest a bit more seriously. After the MP7, we have the MP5 RAS SMG. I've just read that off the announcement from one of the Tripwire members. I'm not making it sound like I know what the fucking gun's called, that's what they've called it. Again, the weapon itself is really good. There's nothing I can really fault with these SMGs. They're really fun to use and they've got really good fire rates and damage. Maybe a bit too powerful because again you can use the MP7 till near the end of the game, but the rest of them you can just use and just fucking go nuts with them, and they're just powerful for the entire thing. After the MP5 RAS SMG, you have the P90. Now you expect the P90, if you play Counter-Strike, to be that weapon everybody uses to piss you off. And in Killing Floor, you use the P90 to be the gun you can use to use an entire clip to kill a fucking scrape. I kid you not, I've done this multiple times. Use a flashbang which stuns it and then just fucking go nuts with the clip, and by the end of that magazine you're done. Now the final one is the Chris Vector, and at this point I have fuck all to say about any of these because they all pretty much just do the same thing. They're all good damage, they're all good fire rate, they're all good ammo efficiency. They're all really powerful, and you don't need to worry about getting to the Chris Vector because you could just beat the game with a P90, an MP7 and an MP5. Or even the akimbo pistols. What I normally do now is use the akimbo 9mm for the first few waves and then buy a P90. You just need that for the game and you're set. Now, logically, the way Killing Floor works, you shouldn't have to do that because it's meant to be you upgrade through the tiers. But this perk makes it a lot different. And personally I prefer that because it means you don't have to keep using the same weapon over and over. You have different ways to play. And this also brings me on to the other factor of this game needs more weapons. Now I have tweeted at Tripwire about this and they did respond saying they are going to make more. It's just, to make the perks more interesting we need more weapons to try. And in saying that, they also added a new weapon for a previous perk. I kid you not, they have actually added a new weapon to an old perk. Now it was one a lot of people have requested purely because the demolitions had no way of supporting itself in close range, which is one of the reasons I didn't like it so far. You now have the M16 with grenade launcher attachment to use instead of the normal grenade launcher. It does the same damage as a grenade launcher, the rifle side does the damage of a bullpup, and it's the same price and same weight, so you can still have an RPG. I personally prefer using that. It makes it a bit more interesting, plus I can actually defend myself when they get too close to me so I don't kill myself. Still suck at demolitions though, so it doesn't change much. Now there's one more thing to really talk about in this video before we wrap it up, and that would be the new map Infernal Realm. Now if you are like myself and go through the workshop, Infernal Realm was actually a competition winner, and it's a custom map. Just like the other two in the previous update, there have been custom maps, which is fine, don't get me wrong, I like the map, I think it's really nice. Feels quite like Doom, but not fully there. However, it does make me wonder what Tripwire are doing themselves to kind of introduce their own maps and introduce new game modes. So far we have modded objective levels which aren't really that great, but you do have stuff like in the London winter map, which me and Liam did. You had to do little things to open up certain areas, and there is the London escape map as well. I'd rather see some actual objective mode be introduced, but we're still waiting on the final perk to come into Killing Floor. And recently they have announced that Martial Artist has been scrapped, or supposedly, as they're working on a new perk which no one's expecting, and the Katana has been put into Berserker. Originally, from the sound of it, the Katana was meant to go into Martial Artist, but because they're not going to do the perk anymore, it's gone back into Berserker, which took them long enough to do. This might be the end for Martial Artist, however, you never know, they might return to it at some point. All we know is that there is a new one coming out, we have no idea what it is. And it does interest me, but until then, we've got SWAT, we've got a new map, and the game is actually getting really close to completion because it's in November, I believe, where it's coming out. And I think they'll hit it. And believe me, the game is a lot better than it used to be. I know a lot of people have been put off by the early access, and that it's been out for over a year. But if you're one of the people who did play it at first and have switched off, it's worth coming back to. I switch on and off with Killing Floor, that's why I come back to it with content. However, this time I feel a lot more happy to play it, and there's a lot more to do. One last thing to mention, which I think is a really important part of this update, is now how the game director will now add stuff like flesh pounds and streaks more often, depending on how the game is going. Apparently they say it's random, but I honestly think it's depending on how well you're doing. As an example, you'll see a clip just now where I was running down a corridor, being chased by a flesh pound, and then run into 2 more and they killed me. While some people might think this is an unfair system, I actually prefer it to how it used to be, because I used to know a system to kill the 2 flesh pounds on wave 6 or 7, one of the 2, I can't remember off the top of my head, but this makes things a lot more interesting. Yeah, and that's it really. I've got nothing else really to say at the moment. I know they've changed a lot of other perks as well to kind of rebalance them, but I haven't actually had a time to try them fully. If there's anything you'd like to add to this, or there's an opinion which you'd like to share, feel free to leave a comment in the section below, and I'll see you next time. I probably just triggered like 4 or 5 people saying different like terms: clip, magazine, round, fucking ammo box.